Welcome back to this special edition of Warriors Roundtable, a tribute to Wilt Chamberlain. In high school at Philadelphia's Overbrook High, he already stood 6 feet 11 inches tall. In 1959, he slipped on a Philadelphia Warrior uniform and scored 43 points in his debut. In 1962, Wilt set a record that may stand forever.
Into Chamberlain. He made it! 100 points to Wilt Chamberlain.
The following year, Wilt and the Warrior franchise would move west to San Francisco.
When Al opened the door, I was sitting on the bed, and in walked Wilt Chamberlain, 7'2", 290 pounds that particular season. I was 6'11", and 229 pounds. I'd never seen a person that big. His voice boomed across the room, and he and Al hugged and talked, and I was introduced to him that night, and from that night on, I always called him the big fella. I think I was kind of ahead of my time because later on, the whole league called him the big fella because of all the magnificent things that Wilt did on the floor.
In a blockbuster move, Wilt was traded to the Philadelphia 76ers in January of '65 for 3 players and cash.
He and I were good friends, you know. We used to go out to dinner all the time. That was one of the things he was mad at me about. He says, I've had all kinds of owners. You're the only owner I really enjoyed spending time with, and you trade me.
In '67, with the 76ers, he would win the first of 2 NBA titles. Ironically, his opponent in the finals, the San Francisco Warriors.
In order for us to win the NBA title in '67, I had to go up against, of all teams, not the Lakers, who were the perennial Western champions, but the San Francisco Warriors, my old team, which was sort of strange for me because Nate Thurmond, who was a dear friend of mine, I watched him come into the league on the same team that I played, and we worked together and played together, and we were very, 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 very close. But also, he was an incredible defensive basketball player. And for me, with no knock at all to Bill Russell, defensively, he played me as well, defensively in that one aspect, because he knew a lot about my moves and my game, and he was strong with his incredible long arms.
2 years later, he was traded to the Lakers, and in '72 won his second NBA title, while LA won an amazing 33 in a row.
A lot of people don't realize that when Wilt came to the Lakers, there was West and Baylor and Goodrich and a lot of good players there, that he actually, I mean, he really did sacrifice. When I was there playing with Wilt, I mean, he would take 15 shots, 12 shots, 10 shots, average, 21 points, get 27 rebounds, and West and Goodrich were getting, 48 between them in the backcourt, and he didn't care. He just wanted to win. And I think the year we won the championship, I don't think there's any doubt that the difference was Wilt.
Would the NBA be the same had there never been a Wilt Chamberlain? What kind of impact did he have on the league?
Well, the one thing you have to think about, the NBA, there are always going to be good players who come and go.
Sure.
But there are not going to be any Wilt Chamberlains other than the one who was here. And I think he started because he was the first player that actually dictated how his career was going to go. I remember they gave Elgin Baylor $250,000 for 5 years, and they said the league is coming to an end. They're going to pay someone $50,000 a year to play basketball. And Elgin was the first player that was able to get that kind of money. And Wilt was the first to get $100,000. And I remember when Wilt was making $60,000 in 1962, and he was the highest paid player in the league, and it was not guaranteed. And see how far it's come. But the players who were upset at Wilt don't understand that the reason that the ceiling was raised was because of Wilt Chamberlain.
Probably no other player impacted the NBA as greatly as Wilt did. He changed rules. He was really the first dominant power center. I think George Mikan would have been considered maybe a similar force in his day, but Wilt was so ahead of his time that he in some way symbolized not only his own era as a basketball player, but the future of professional basketball.